appropriate. 7 years later, after dealing with Tupac's posthumous business and all of the court hearings and everything she had to sort out, it was a lot, you can imagine.
Absolutely.
She came to me, we stayed in touch as friends and friends of the family, and said, okay, let's do that book now. And I went in the garage and got all my stuff out. I was so excited, and I was gonna call Nikki Giovanni and Sonia Sanchez, and she said, but I don't feel like talking to nobody, so you did the interviews, you write the book.
Oh, wow.
And I said, I'm not a writer, only problem. She said, no, you can do this. And I fought her on it. Wow. Did not want that responsibility. I was terrified of not being able to do it. Sure. You know, having never really written that long anything. I wrote episodes of A Different World, you know, 30-page dialogue-driven episodes. So I started on the journey. I tried to get out of it a few times. And when I realized that it was really about our relationship, as much as it is about the life of Wendy Shakur, in re-interviewing her 7 years later, I saw that she had evolved, that a lot of her anger had been assuaged, that she went to her hometown and dealt with issues that she had with her father and dealt with a lot of what was driving her in the first part of our interviews. And that's why I came up with the title, Evolution of a Revolutionary. Originally the title was The 9 Lives of a Black Panther.
Interesting.
I love that title.
Interesting.
Then I was sitting there like, my title doesn't work. You're not even angry anymore. You don't even like your daddy.
That's the evolution.
That's the evolution.
Okay.
So we really have a 7-year gap of, you know, research in there where I see her before and after.
Great. Well, it's apparent that she has inspired you prior to even meeting and knowing her. And that you then took part in the evolution of this great woman. Share with the viewers some other individuals, some other great women that they may know on a national scale that have motivated you and inspired you.
Ruby Dee.
Yes.
Who was the reason I said I could act, because I said she looks like me. When I saw Raisin in the Sun. Yeah. You know, in Atlanta, Ted Turner had this station on Channel 17.
Okay.
And it was, I watched it religiously because we didn't have much choice, especially on Saturdays and Sundays.
Yeah,
there was nothing but golf on the main 3 networks. So
free cable.
I watched all the old movies, To Serve with Love, and of course when I saw Raisin in the Sun, after having been told that there weren't a lot of black actresses other than Dorothy Dandridge, that's what my father told me, and I saw Ruby Dee, I was like,
another one.
Tell me about Ruby Dee. You know, and I also remember Diane Carroll and Julia, the first black woman to have her own TV show. So in my mind, there were those avenues. That's why I would hate to say to a young person that those avenues don't exist.
Sure.
I was too young to realize there were only 2 avenues at the time. It looked like a lot to me. They were doing movies and TV. But I love Ruby Dee for her activism because she and Ossie Davis always were at the forefront, and Harry Belafonte of any, you know, they spoke out against the segregationists, they spoke out against anti-voting, they supported Martin Luther King, they knew Malcolm X, they were against apartheid. They were always in the forefront of where we live and who we are before their careers, because they could have easily been blackballed, and I'm sure there were repercussions for them speaking out the way they did, as with Eartha Kitt.
Absolutely, yeah. I read her first biography, autobiography, probably over the holiday break over Christmas, and had no idea. And so much of media will share with you what they want you to know. So many people just walk away, oh, is that the woman that, you know, played Catwoman? Right. But there's so much more depth. And the stance that she took, you know, and being vocal, and the repercussions of that with President Johnson. And doing it at a luncheon in front of Lady Bird. Absolutely. Understanding that the full impact and still standing strong and forging ahead. So yes, you stand on some great shoulders, as we all do. And what I'm sure you've realized this, but you may not always vocalize it, that in addition to the many doors that are now open for those who desire to embark upon speech theater, acting, writing a book, that these young people now stand on your shoulders, that you have created so many options and opportunities for them because of your many accomplished roles.
I want them to know they never have to limit themselves, that they don't have to live in the limitation of what others project upon them.
Sure.
And sometimes that means keeping your dreams secret, so that they're not tarnished.
Absolutely.
You'll never be able to write a book. You're a dancer. You can't be on TV.
Right.
You need to go this way. Nobody really knows. To me, nobody knows but God. And often I've said, this is a message that I've gotten, and maybe I should keep it to myself until I just do it.
That's so true.
Sometimes you have to protect that.
It's important because then what oftentimes happens, if we're in our weakest or most vulnerable moment and someone else's insecurities or misinformed beliefs or assessments and definitions of you are then projected, and if we're in a vulnerable moment, then we'll believe it.
Yes,
and so many dreams have been squashed and not come to fruition because of that.
And people project their own fears on you.
Yes.
I'm afraid of it, therefore
you must
I'm going to tell you all the things that could go wrong.
That is
like
so
when
true.
I was pregnant and I had to hear everybody's horror stories in the delivery room. I was like, I don't want to hear that.
Let me
don't
get through this
tell
moment.
Me. I mean, so far I'm fine. I'm nice and round and fat and eating whatever I want.
I love it.
I don't want to hear that.
I love it. And tell us what your beautiful daughter, Imani?
Imani, yes.
What is she doing these days?
She just turned 13, and she's very smart. She's doing well in school. She's smarter than I am. So I just try to provide what she needs. I don't know what she's talking about half the time, but she did decide recently that she wants to go into theater, which she had been avoiding for the whole time. I mean, as a little girl, around 3, she said, I don't want to be an actor. I'm going to be a fashion designer. I think that's better than acting, because then I don't have to leave my children.
They'll do that to
you. It's just
constant
guilty digs.
I know. You have to brush it off. You have to brush it off. Wait till she turns 15. I have the gray hair. I have a 15-year-old at home,
I'm kind of dreading it. I'm trying to nip it in the bud. I'm really, really mean to her now, so that by the time she turns 15, I have my power and control.
There you go.
You know,
keep doing that.
Well, you know, and the biggest transition is that I'm almost living with a roommate, and I was always living with the little kid before. We have similar needs, you know. There's her cosmetics and mine. There's her toiletries and mine, and it's really interesting. I didn't really prepare for this. I didn't prepare for any of it.
Well, you can't. You really can't. I still look for my son's how-to manual and my daughter. By the way, and her name is Iman. Just missing the I.
Beautiful. Iman means believer.
Yes.
And Imani means faith.
Yes.
Well, I think they're both beautiful names.
I would agree.
Although Imani doesn't like her name right now.
Oh, she'll love it. She'll love it. She will absolutely love it.
I said I should have called you Gertrude. How was that? You like that better? Just anything I know.
Choose, they're never satisfied until they go out on their own, and particularly when they have children of their own, and then that's when it resonates.
Well, I hope we're around to see that resonance.
We will. So we have to.
I'm not,
we have to, so that we can laugh and giggle and say, "Oh no, is that what they're doing to you?" And go get her some more. Yeah, we'll be around for that.
Mommy, don't laugh. Don't talk to my friends. What are you wearing to my school? I'm like, look, kid, this is what you got.
Absolutely. Let's roll with it.
I don't know what else to tell you.
I love it. I love it. Before we wrap up, I'm curious. I love to read, and obviously you are passionate about books and the message that they convey. So could you tell us an author that has most impacted your life, and or a book that you often refer to?
Wow. I'll name 3. Poisonwood Bible, because I loved the way she told that story from the different perspectives. Tuesdays with Maury, because that's the book I used as my guide for the evolution of a revolutionary. Because Mitch Albom put himself into that book. He was a character in that book as we got to know Maury. That's how I got the idea of doing my book. Put myself in the story, and we'll get to know her as I did. And then love Walter Mosley. I love Easy Rollins.
Yeah, yeah.
He's my lover, but he just don't know
Yeah, I was gonna say, very sexy man.
So I've read all of those Walter Mosley books.
Very good. Yeah.
About Easy.
Yeah, Easy Rollins. Yeah.
So nothing that deep.
No. But it's what your takeaway.
I've read a lot of the books by Wayne Dwyer and Marianne Williamson, and lately I've been reading a lot of business books of the great entrepreneurs of the world, because I find that the same spiritual principles apply to whatever you're trying to do.
Absolutely.
And they tend to organize my thoughts for me. So they'll give you the 7 steps of something, or the 8 steps, and that kind of, when everything's like this, you don't know what to do first. It helps me, prioritize.
Okay, very good. All those great selections. Thank you so much for joining me today. It's been an honor and a privilege. Have admired your work for years, and you've certainly, in the roles that you've played, you've able to, or I've been able to take away a little nugget of encouragement, and allowed me to kind of inner reflect and help me to pursue my dreams and my passions. So on behalf of, it's always a pleasure. And again, I'm excited, and thank you on behalf of Blacks Expo, and you presenting their great keynote speech, which I know that it will be continued success, Jasmine Guy.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
My pleasure.
Viewers, thank you for joining me for this edition of Realizing Potential. I'm Wendy Wilson, and I will see you next time.